since I'm redoing the main games, I figured it's about time we finally get to this. Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play Mega Man Network Transmission, the main spin-off for Mega Man Battle Network. And so, thanks to me and Mega Man, the ambitions of World 3 were shattered. Life was peaceful once again, 1 month later. Too much time on your hands, Lan? You keep yawning. Maybe you're suffering from sleep deprivation? That's not sleep deprivation. I'm just bored lately. Yeah, isn't it great? No incidents to worry about. Peace rules. Well, yeah. Anyway, Lan, did you do today's homework? Would no be a safe guess? Is it that obvious? Obvious? Not at all. Hey, if you're that bored, why don't you do it now? Alright then, time to launch the homework program. Wait, I've got some email. Why do you always change the subject when I mention your homework? The first thing we do in our day is reading our email. How weirdly realistic. The game does have Japanese voice acting for barks and cutscenes, which is pretty neat. Kinda surprised this game didn't get a dub, but it's also kinda low budget, so I'm not surprised. The Higsby's Chip Shop's holding a grand thank you sale, huh? Come check out our amazing selection of Navi battleships, huh? We're in the building with an S right in front of the AC/DC school gates, huh? Alright. Mail news, more virus damage. Damage by the new type of virus known as the Zero virus is spreading. The Zero virus infects Navis instead of electronic devices and adversely affects their functions. No effective vaccine is available yet, so the only possible response to an infection is to turn off your PET. Please find roll from mail. Uh-oh. Lan, have you been to the net lately? I sent Roll on an errand this morning, but I guess she got lost somewhere? She's really late. If you see Roll on the net, tell her to hurry home, please. Roger. I am the undefeated from Dex. Yo, Lan, you working on your antivirus strategies? I'm protected. Today I'm gonna have Gutsman go buy the latest vaccine I pre-ordered. On the net. I bet you're impressed. Not really, Dex, no. It's Dex. Wonder where Roll went. Can Navis get lost? Not usually. Wonder what happened. Ah, well, Mega Man, let's jack in and look for Roll. Good idea. I'm kind of worried about her. Alright, excuse to get her doing homework. What are you grinning about, Lan? Anyway, to jack in, all you do is press the Start Pause button to open your PET and select Map. Then you select the place you want to jack into. And remember, cyber worlds are dangerous, so don't forget to save your game. So, this is a bit of a unique instance where you're not actually controlling Lan for basically any of the game. Lan's room just acts as a main hub and menu system using the PET, where you can save, check your library, access your chip folder and alter it, all that jazz. Most of the action's done by pressing the map button, not the plug icon that really should be the jack-in icon, and heading to the net from there. And this is our starting folder. You might notice it's only 20 chips versus the main Battle Network game's 30, but there's a reason for that we'll get into once we jack in a few moments to see how the main game flows. Also, just to showcase it, this is this game's library. We got 137 battle chips to collect in this one. This works with the Battle Network 1 and 2 system, where certain chips that were separated off into separate categories in BN3 Beyond are still counted in the main library. We also got 14 program advances to do throughout this entire LP. Now let's head to the map and jack into the net from Lan's house. Also, over here is Higsby's shop, but there's nothing I can really buy there at the moment. I don't have enough zenny. Jack into the net, complete. What's it like, Mega Man? I think there are more viruses than there used to be. Even though World 3 is gone? Yeah, we'll have to be careful, Lan. It's been a while since we busted viruses, so let's review how we did it. Okay. Mega Man, I sent you chip data. First, you send me the chip data that I use as weapons against viruses. You select the chip data to use in a stage from this screen, the custom screen. If the custom gauge at the top of the screen is full, then you can call up this screen with the Z button whenever you want. The element and attack values of the chip with the cursor are on the left of the custom screen, and the number owned in the MP megabytes used are on the right. Alright, let's try it. After you select all the chips, move the cursor to OK and press the A button. You don't have to worry about any kind of chip code for the battle chips in this game, so you can select whatever to be in your main 5 at any point in time. Okay, now I can use the chips. Let's start off by trying the basic attack chip cannon. Select the chip with the L or R button and use it with the Use Chip button. Use the standby button to stop the game and safely switch chips. Alright, switch the chip to cannon and try hitting that Metar. So, while mainline Battle Network is all about making a good deck, essentially, with your battle chips and strategizing your best to make battles as efficient as possible, Network Transmission's an A to B platformer, where you still have the chip system, and enemies can still drop battle chips as well. There are 2 Metars up ahead. We can just use a cannon here, or for an easier fight, use the V-gun. Shots from the V-gun explode in a V-shaped blast wave after hitting. So if you hit the bottom Metar just right, you might be able to kill the Metar above and at an angle. Try it. Battle chips are your best way of fighting at this point in the game because your buster is really piddly in this one to start. Lan, do you understand how to use chips? Don't worry about running out. The MP that chips use will gradually come back over time, and the faster you defeat the viruses, the more chips you'll get. This time you selected all 5 chips, but you can also leave some behind. When you're at full HP, you can hold on to a recovery as part of your strategy. Those are the basics. Let's go, Lamb. And also just over here, we have our first green mystery data. Just like mainline Battle Network, green mystery data respawn after every time you jack into the net and contain random things, though in this game it's dependent on which mystery data it is. Land, a security queue is blocking your path here. This wasn't here the last time we came this way. Wonder what's going on. We'll need a passcode to unlock it. What do you want to do, Lan? We're locked in. We'll have to find a passcode. You're right. Okay, let's go to the left first. So, every battle chip you use uses a certain amount of MP/megabytes, which is that green bar on the top left. The yellow bar is our health, which that's pretty self-explanatory. Whenever you use a battle chip, you lose MP, but it does regenerate over time. Analyzing mystery data. This mystery data contains a level 1 code. Land, this passcode. Ah, this must be the passcode for that security cube we just passed. Let's go back and try it. Alright. So, in mainline Battle Network, when you use a battle chip, that one is just gone for the rest of that battle unless you use certain programs or chips in later games. But you might notice I've used cannons a couple times, I used V-guns several times up there, and I had more than one use. In fact, if you look in the bottom left, there's a number above the chip. While your folder can only hold up to 20 battle chips in this game, each battle chip has a certain amount of uses you can max out by just getting more and more of that chip. And the way you get more and more of a chip is killing enemies that are tied to it. Killing the cannondomes around here can get you cannons, killing the Metars can get you shockwaves and guards. Mega Man, can we use the passcode we just found? Hang on, I'll analyze it. Yes, it looks like we can use this passcode. We did it. Now we can go forward. Alright, let's open the security cube with the level 1 code. Now, that does mean that in order to get a good folder again, you still do need to actively figure out what weapons work best on certain enemies. The corridor is getting more narrow. Best to slide here. Hold the D-pad or analog stick down and jump to slide. Network Transmission borrows classic Mega Man slide ability, and it's your fastest method of movement by and large in the game, so you're going to see me spamming that in a lot of straightaways. Before we head to the right, though, we want to come up here to the left to find ourselves our first blue mystery data. Like mainline Battle Network, these have set content and can only be obtained once per playthrough, barring certain glitches and circumstances in the mainline ones. And we're gonna look at Mega Man's screen here to look at his stats. We got 80 HP and MP to start, but in this blue mystery data is our first HP memory, which raises our HP by 20, so now we're at 100. Kinda weird they don't start you in 100 in this one, but oh well. And coming up here, we're actually gonna get our first new battle chip by taking out that bunny one. Actually, we just got a Zappering one, which I will never use. Wait, Mega Man, there are lots of viruses ahead. Yeah, we'll take damage. Let's go over by using the Cyber Bar. Jump and hold the D-pad or control stick up to hold. Jump one more time while holding the Cyber Bar to drop down again. So now they actively just bring in this bar mechanic from, I believe this was in both X5 and 6. Kinda weird, but it works. It's nice and responsive. Nice, Lamb. Looks like you got your virus-busting sense back. But don't overdo it. Jack out before you lose your last backup. Open the PET with the start or pause button, and select Jack out. You can jack out anytime I'm standing on the floor. Alright, it's time for the real thing. Be careful. You do have lives in the game, as you can see on the far left, and if you let that number run out, that's just a pure game over and you're thrown back to the title screen. Lan, are you paying attention to the panels on the floor? The blocks with panels indicate the correct route. Blocks without panels are incorrect routes from a programming standpoint. So what he means by that is, if you look on the floor, we actually have like these little dashed panels. Those highlight the main path, but anything that's not that is a side path that will usually reward you with some items. And now I'm going to do a dumb thing and wait right here, just essentially using battle chips to get through my folder. Because you might see that weird looking block right in front of us that looks a little bit like weirdly a thing from Metroid 2 in one specific area. We have a battle chip that can actually break that down, the Wrecker battle chip. But it took forever to show up. I do waiting like this frequently in the game to get better attack setups for boss fights, but there's also times where you just might want to do this for platforming, and this just really bogs down the pace. I think I was waiting here for upwards of like 10 minutes from memory. In the case you are doing something like this and waiting for a specific battle chip, you can make it more likely to show up by actively using up the other battle chips along the way. Because as long as a battle chip still has one use, it can still show up again on the custom screen even if you go to a new set of chips. It just might take a while, it might take 3 seconds, it might just show back up again immediately. It's a little hard to predict, and it's still kind of neat that they found a way to bring in the chip selection idea from the mainline Battle Networks into here, but it definitely doesn't feel the best executed for what the game's trying to do level design-wise. But eventually, waiting here, I got the record chip to show up. It is there on the second row, and we can now break this wall. There are other chips that can break this wall, but we're not going to have access to those for a couple parts at a minimum, so I might as well get this done now. Of course, I will have to actually wait here again down the line because there's something else we could do over here, but we'll talk about that later. There we go. Land, there's a spike trap up ahead. If you touch a spike, you'll take enough damage to be deleted. Sort of. Be careful to never touch the spikes. So the reason I say sort of, spikes in this game are damaging, and they are instant kill right now, but they aren't always instant kill. From memory, they do about 200 to 300 damage every single time you touch them when you don't have invincibility frames going. So that is an instant kill right now, but by end game, we can take 2 to 4 shots from them, no problem. But for now, avoid touching them. And I came this way because it allows me to get this blue mystery data a little early. And it's a power-up, and that's something I really want. Power-ups you use on the Mega Man screen to boost your Buster's stats. And I'm going to start by putting it into charge and attack, just like in Battle Network 1 and 2, because they are the best thing to do it in. Getting power-ups is essential because while Mega Man's Buster in this game starts really piddly, just look how many shots it takes me to take out this Metar even. By endgame, its charge shot gets ridiculous. But for now in early game, using battle chips is your best way to take care of enemies. Also, a moment ago, you may have seen some rotating orange coins. Those are just outright zenny. Zenny comes in 3 colors, but we're only going to see the bronze for right now. I believe the bronze is 50 per collection. Enemies can also drop zenny if you don't take care of them fast enough. They can also drop life energy. But I don't think from memory they can drop anything that restores your megabytes, because your megabytes restore over time anyway. My main goal for right now is getting a lot of cannon battle chips, because the cannon line in this is really good. So was Shotgun, because they actually raised its damage up to 40 from 30 for this for some reason, which makes it very good against any enemy in the early stage here. Lamb, look, there's a backup chip there. Get backup chips to automatically increase the number of backups. Each backup you have lets you get deleted once without losing the game. You can come back to life. Let's get it now. These are extra lives, but they're permanent extra lives. So now whenever we jack in, Mega Man will always have up to 2 lives that you can use at any point in time. There we got the level 2 code, which allows us to come back here and go past that security cube I didn't investigate at all, because I knew I had to come up here anyway. This is definitely a weird adaptation of the battle network mechanics into a 2D platformer, and there's elements of this I do like a lot, but as we see as we go, there's a lot of it that does have a lot of clunk. For now, though, we're almost done with Den Area 2. Or is it AC/DC Area 2? I can never remember which game calls it which. Oh, sorry, roll. Roll! Hey there, Mega. Where have you been? Mail was worried about you. I know. I need your help, Mega. There's a fire up ahead. A fire? In the cyber world. I came here to get away from the fire, but the fire's blocking my way home. So I've been looking for another place to jack out from. The security has us locked up here, but a fire? You don't see that every day. Mega Man, let's go check it out a little. Yeah. If you're gonna go in there, I'll give you this heat armor. If you equip it, it'll reduce fire element damage by half. Thanks, Roll. Don't be like young me and just think that automatically equips. It doesn't. This works off the Mega Man Battle Network 1 original aspects, where there are elements and armor that match them that reduce damage, and the damage coming up, you really want to have the heat armor equipped. But before we go into that area, I want to jack out, and every time you jack in and out, you do have to see this animation, which does kind of pile up in the timer as you go. Because I have zenny I want to spend. In fact, I think I even do some grinding in a cut coming up here that I cleverly hide by just doing the first area over and over again. I want to buy an Aqua Sword. This works like it does in the mainline games. It's a water elemental wide sword, which is going to come in handy in a fire area coming up because the weakness elemental chain from the main game still exists. But it's also good to get because it's now the strongest battleship we have at 100 damage. I do buy more of these off-screen from memory. But I'll talk more about that next time because of the way I'm jacking in and out in the early game. This first stage is arguably one of the hardest in the game just because you don't have any way to deal with a lot of what the game's throwing at you yet. For now, we're going to jack back in and head back to the second area you're at just after. Is it AC/DC or Den Area? Den Area. We're back in Den Area 2 because we went to the right to use the wrecker last time. Now we can come over here and grab some extra mystery data. Due to how the main portion of the internet is structured, we're going to be doing a lot of jump cutting back and forth throughout the LP, throughout Den Area 1, 2, and 3 especially. So get used to that throughout the game, but there's also going to be shortcuts they make throughout, so it's going to get a little easier to follow in some regards. For now, though, I want to come up here and get these 2 blue mystery data. To get this first one, you have to do a little bit of a tricky ledge jump, where you just need to jump at the last second and then curve backwards. That's a memory up. That increases your MP bar, essentially. And for this blue mystery data, you need to use either a very precise jump or a very specific battle chip. Because some battle chips that were just attacks in the main RPGs now have extra movement utility. In this case, you need to use the dash battle chip. Because dash now puts you forward, but you don't respawn where you used it, you stay where you stop. So you can use this to go over pits like this and just get to further platforms. And that's a long sword. We already have some of those, but now we have an extra use of it. Probably should talk about that as well. Whenever you get a battleship for the first time, you don't get a certain amount of uses of it, you just have the one use. In order to get further uses of a battleship up to the max that every battleship has, you need to get extras of it. So every extra cannon I've gotten from Cannodumbs in this has increased me from having, I think, like 5 up to upwards of, I believe that ship maxes out at 20, which goes a long way for making your folder be more usable in combat. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 2, we head over to Den Area 3 to take care of the first actual stage of the game, now that we're past most of the tutorial fluff. See you guys then.